Hi, and welcome to the elementary and middle school math tutor. In this class, we're going to learn about all of the topics that you're going to learn about in elementary and the beginning part of middle school. And those are the absolute core math topics that you're going to be expected to know to move on and go through second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade, and so on. Okay? We're going to talk about lots of different topics, but the main thing that I want you to realize as we go through this class here is that math is not hard, okay? That is exactly what I really want you to know, and that's what I'm going to show you as we work through the problems. I'm going to teach you how to do math, and it's not going to be very hard the way I'm going to explain it to you. The second thing is, and this is extremely very, very important, is that math is like riding a bike, okay? First time you got on a bike, you probably fell over. The second time you got on a bike, you probably went a little ways and then you fell over. And the third and the fourth and the fifth time, maybe after a lot of practice, you're able to ride up and down the street on that bike, okay? It took practice, okay? The way I'm going to teach you math, and the easiest way to learn math, is to practice, okay? You have to do problems. You have to work through them. It's kind of like learning how to talk. It's kind of like learning how to ride a bike. You've got to work and work and work and work problems. And then, at the end of the day, you'll just know how to do it without even thinking because you will have done so many problems, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn the material through working problems. And for the parents that are watching this video with their children, if you feel like the material needs to be watched again, go ahead and just rewind it and play it again. And through the repetition, okay, the skills will just become built one on top of the other, and then moving forward will be much easier. So the first topic we're going to talk about is how to add 1 and 2 digit numbers. And that's where my starting point is going to be. It's going to be how to add 1 and 2 digit numbers. So let's go ahead and do that, and let's do it by working a lot of example problems. Okay, what if you were trying to do something like 2 plus 3? You have to ask yourself first the question, what does this mean? What does addition mean? What does it mean when you add two things together, okay? You should know what the number 2 represents, okay? And that is, if I've got some balls over here, this is 2 balls, 1, 2, right? Pretty easy so far, right? And then I'm going to add to it 3 more balls. So here's 3 more balls, okay? So you can see here that when I put a plus sign here, 2 plus 3, what I'm really trying to ask you to do is if you have 2 balls here and you're adding 3 balls here, how many balls would that equal total, okay? So what you do is you just start with what the first number is and add to it what the second number is. So here you have 1, 2, and if you were to continue counting, 3, 4, 5. So in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 balls. And if you wanted to write that out here, these are all balls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what happens when you add these two things together. So 2 plus 3 is going to be 5. Now, let's go ahead and get in the habit in our problems. Even though I initially gave you the problem like this, 2 plus 3 written out to the side, I want you to get in the habit of writing the numbers on top of each other, okay? So this is kind of separate here, on top of each other. And you'll understand why later. Don't really worry about it now, but we're going to add the numbers by putting them on top of each other. But nothing has changed. You just have your 2 balls and you have your 3 more balls, and we've already said that that's going to equal 5 balls, so I'm going to put the 5 right below it. Okay, I'm going to put the 5 right below it. And that's the answer. So on your paper, on your test, you would just circle 5. Okay? Now let's move on and do a different problem. What if you were given 4 plus 2? Again, most of the time the problem is going to be given to you by writing it out to the side like that. Okay? So what I want to do is I'm going to write this problem again as we have done here with the 4 on the top and the 2 on the bottom. And I'm going to put a line with the plus sign. And you will understand a little bit later why we're writing it like this. But for now, just do it. Okay? So if we were going to do this by counting on our fingers or by drawing on the paper, we would start with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And we would add to it 2 more balls. Okay? And so that is what addition is doing. You're taking the first number and you're adding to it by piling on more balls. So if you just start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 balls. So this is going to be 6 balls. okay, over on the end. 6 balls total. And so the answer you would just put underneath the line like this. So 6 is going to be the answer there. Okay? Now another way, the way that I really did this when I was younger, is you can draw things on your paper, okay, if you don't remember what the answer is to adding two numbers together. You can also use your fingers, okay, because you've got 10 nice little fingers here, okay? You've also got some toes. You can use those if you really want to, okay? So if you're going to start with, let's say, 2 plus 3, like this first problem, okay, I have 2 fingers to start with, and I'm just going to add 3 more to it. So I could have, starting with 2, 3, 4, 5, and I end up with 5. So that's what I ended up with in the first place there. As you work problems, and as you get a little bit more experience with working these kinds of problems, and you get a little bit older and you get a little bit more practice, you won't have to use your fingers because you'll just remember the answer. Okay, it's kind of like your ABCs. When you first learned your ABCs, you know, you had to sing that song. Now you just kind of know what they are. Okay, so what if we had a problem with a little bit bigger numbers? 8 plus 5. Okay? Again, all we're going to do is we're going to write this with one number on the top and one number underneath it. And we're going to put a plus sign there. Okay? And we're going to do that, and you'll see why in a little bit. Now you can count on your fingers here. Okay? You can count on your fingers here, or you can just go ahead and draw your balls. Let's draw 8 balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 balls. And on the bottom, you can have 5 more balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So you have 8 balls on the top, 5 balls on the bottom. So in order to find the answer, all you do is you just add them all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 balls. So I'm going to put a 1 here and a 3 here. I'm going to write 13. That is the answer. So from here on out, okay, when you're working problems, when you're adding these single digits like this, okay, you can use your fingers, okay, or you can draw on the board and draw on your paper and arrive at the answer. We're going to be building up in the problems and making them a little more complicated as we go along so we can get some practice. 9 plus 7. Okay? Same thing. We're going to write the 9 on the top and the 7 on the bottom. Okay? And what we're going to do is we can add this up. Now, as you start to get to the bigger and bigger numbers, it gets to be a little bit hard to draw. I mean, it gets a little bit boring to start drawing all these circles on the paper. Okay? You can do that. That works just fine. But if you don't want to do that, you can use your fingers. So how would you do that? Start with 9. We're going to add 7 to it. You should all know that this is 7, okay? So if you start at 9, you would just go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You see, we just started at 9 and we continued up to adding 7 more. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's 16, okay? So the answer is 16. So right underneath here, I'm going to put a 1 here and a 6 here. 16. Okay? Now we could draw 9 balls, and I could draw 7 more balls, and we could count them, and that's fine. But from here on out, I'm just going to use my fingers because handling your fingers are a little bit easier than handling a lot of drawing of circles on the paper sometimes. Okay? Now, as I said, we're going to get into problems that are a little bit more complicated as we go along here. And here is going to be the first example of that. Okay, let's do 11 plus 3. Okay, now you see the only thing difference between this problem and the last problem is that the numbers are a little bit bigger. It's really the same concept though. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 11 on the top and 3 on the bottom. Okay, and we're going to put a plus sign. Now notice in all of the other problems before they were single digits, so I just put the numbers on top of each other like this, okay? Now, in this problem, when I have a double-digit number on the top and a single-digit number on the bottom, I'm going to write the double-digit, I'm going to put the bigger number on the top and the smaller number on the bottom, and I'm going to push the number off to the right and kind of align them like this. So the 3 is going to go under here. And you'll see that as we do more and more problems. Now, certainly, you could draw 11 balls out, okay? and you could draw 3 more balls here, okay? And you would get the exact correct answer, okay? But well, we can do that now, and we can see where we go, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to start with 11, and we're going to add 3 more to it, okay? So let's start with 11, let's add 3 more to it, let's see what the answer is going to be. Starting at 11, 12, 13, 14. We added 3 more. We'll do it again, starting at 11, 12, 13, 14, okay? So it's going to be 14. So I'm going to write 14 right under here. And that is the exact correct answer. And we did this by counting, okay? But now I'm going to begin to show you the real way in which you add these things together, okay? Because as you will see, the bigger the numbers that we have here, the harder it's going to be to use your fingers, okay? Eventually, if I start to add big numbers together, like 47 plus 24, it's going to be very hard to use your fingers, okay, to actually add those together. You could do it, but it would be much harder. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to teach you a really cool, really quick way to do this. So here we did this by counting. And that's perfectly fine way to do it, okay? Perfectly fine way. But here's another way, and this is the way you're going to have to become good at. We put 11 and a 3, and we put a plus like this. And this is why I want you to line them up on top of each other with us. If you have a smaller number, push it over to the right so it's aligned. This is how you do it. You start in the right-hand column first. So we're going to be working right to left, okay? What you want to do here is just forget about the fact that this is a number 11. Just look at this 1 and look at this 3. What's 3 plus 1? I think you should know 3 plus 1 is 4. So just write a 4 directly underneath these two numbers that you added together, okay? So now you're done with this column, okay? Now move over to the next column. You have a 1 here, and there's nothing written down here, so this is like a 0. So 1 plus 0, which is just right here because there's a blank, 1 plus 0 is 1. So you put a 1 down. Now notice we got 14 in the answer here, and we got 14 in the answer here. We got the same answer, and that's good because that means we did the right thing, okay? So you can always count on your fingers if you want to, but as we move up into the bigger problems with bigger numbers, you're going to have to learn how to do it this way. So just start right to left. 3 plus 1 is 4, and then so you're done with that one. And then you move over here. 1 plus 0, because it's blank, gives you a 1. So the answer is going to be 14. And the rest of the problems that we're going to have here in the 2-digit addition problems are going to be practicing that. And they're going to get a little bit more complicated, but really they're not going to be any more complicated than that. It's really not that hard. If you know how to add numbers up from 1 to 10, then you'll be able to do this. So let's say you have 13 plus 4. Okay? Again, the very first thing you do is write the bigger number on the top, 13, the smaller number on the bottom, and I'm going to push it to the right so it lines up on the right, put a plus sign, okay? And I want to add these up. Now again, you could write 13 circles on the board, and you could write 4 more circles, or you could use your fingers and you would get the correct answer. But let's do it this different way. Let's work in the right-hand column. 3 plus 4 you should be able to do fairly fast, or maybe use your fingers. Starting with 3 and adding 4 more is 4, 5, 6, 7. We added 4 more. So we get a 7 here. 3 plus 4 is 7. So we put a 7 directly underneath those numbers. So now we're done with that because we've added that up. Now we move over to the left. 1 plus 0, because there's nothing here, it's like a 0, just gives you 1. So the answer is 17. You start at the right, 3 plus 4 is 7, and then you move left. 1 plus 0 gives you 1. Okay? We're just going to do a lot of these problems so we can get a lot of really good practice. 15 plus 4. What's the first thing you do? You write the bigger number on top, you write the smaller number on the bottom, and push it to the right so it lines up on the right. Okay? And you have to have your plus sign, okay? And we're going to start in the right-hand column. 5 plus 4, you can do that either in your head or you can do that on your fingers. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 5 plus 4 gives you 9. like this. 5 plus 4 gives you 9, and you're done with that column. Now you move left. 1 plus 0 just gives you 1. So the answer there is 19. Okay? The answer there is 19. Okay? So you see it's not too bad. You just start on the right and work your way left. And just add the columns up as you go. And addition just really becomes very easy at that point. Okay? So let's try one a little bit different. 12 plus 7. Okay? First thing we do is we put the bigger number on top, put the smaller number on the bottom, and we push it to the right so it's lined up on the right. Okay? And we start in this column. 7 plus 2 will give you 9, right? Because 7, and then you add 2 more, gives you 8, 9. We added 2 more, so that gave us 9. Put a 9 directly underneath there. We're done with that column. Now here, it's 1 plus 0 gives you 1. So the answer is 19. Okay, now we're finally building up to the more challenging problems, and this next one is very, very important that you understand, okay? 17 plus 5. Doesn't look too different than this problem, so let's just keep on going and see what happens. Write the big number on top first, 17, okay, and the small number on the bottom. We're doing everything exactly the same as before, okay? Now, let's go ahead and work in the right-hand column first. 7 plus 5, what does that equal to? You can use your fingers, okay? 7 plus 5, 7. Let's continue. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 7 plus 5 gives me 12. Now, the thing you need to realize here is that even though 7 plus 5 is 12, you do not put 12 down here. That is not the right thing to do. Do not do that. Basically, the rule is when you're adding numbers up like this, okay, if the number is a single digit, you put the single digit down there. If it's 2 digits like it is here, you have to do something a little bit special. And I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, 7 plus 5 is 12, so I'm going to put the 2 down here for the 12, okay? But I'm not going to put the 1 right next to it. I'm not going to put the 1 right next to it. I'm going to put the 1 up here in the next column over. So what you have is 7 plus 5 is 12. You put the right digit down, the 2 here, and then the 1 that you need to write somewhere, right? You have to put the 1 somewhere. Do not put the 1 here. Put the 1 above the column to the left. So I'll put a 1 here. Okay? Now, you're done with that column. Okay? You're done with adding 7 plus 5. Let's move over. You have a 1 here, you have a 0 here, but I just put this 1 here, so we need to add these two together. 1 plus 1 gives you 2. So the answer is going to be 22. And we're going to do a lot of problems to reinforce this, but what you just need to do is you start in the right. 7 plus 5 gives you 12. If in this case the answer is 12 for that first addition, so because it's not a single digit, because it's a double digit, you put the right hand digit down, and then you put the digit to the left up above, the 1 here. And then you just go to the next column and you add up everything here, okay? All right, so let's move on. Let's do some other problems. We're going to build on that, and we're going to get so good at that that it's just going to seem like second nature. What about 19 plus 7? Okay, 19 plus 7. Well, you write the bigger number on the top and the smaller number on the bottom, just like before. Okay, and just like before, we're going to add the right-hand column. 9 plus 7 gives you, and you can count your fingers, it's going to come to 16, okay, because starting at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's going to be 16, but I do not want to write 16 down here, okay? I do not want to write 16 right here. I want to put the right-hand digit, the 6, and then I'm just going to put the 1 up here. So I have to write 16 down somewhere, but anytime you add these two things up and it becomes a 2-digit or a 3-digit or a 4-digit number, anything greater than 1 digit, if it's just 1 digit, I just put the 1 digit down. But in this case, it's 16. So because it's 2 digits, I put the right-hand digit down here, and then the other digit, I just put it in the next column, and I put it up above. So now we move over to the left, and we continue adding. 1 plus 1 gives me 2. So the answer is 26. Okay, so in the first part of the problems, when I'm adding that rightmost column, okay, I got a single digit answer, so I just wrote it down there. If you ever add something up like this and get a double digit number, you just write that right hand digit down, and then the left digit, you just put it on top in the column to the left, and then keep adding. Okay? Now, what if you had something like a little bit more complicated, like 12 plus 11. So this is the first problem where we have a double digit plus a double digit. But you're going to find out that the rules are exactly the same. It's very, 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 very easy. 12 plus 11. I just write number on top and number on bottom, okay? Now how do I add this, okay? Start in the right-hand column just like before. 2 plus 1 should give you 3. That's a single digit answer, so I just write it down. I don't have to do any of this business because it's just a single digit number, okay? You're done with that column. Now move to the left. 1 plus 1 just gives you 2. So the answer is 23, okay? So you see, adding single digits to double digits or adding double digits to double digits, it's really all the same thing. You just start on the right and then add 2 plus 1 is 3. You're done. Then 1 plus 1 is 2. And again, you're done, okay? And you're going to find out that the rules of addition are not that difficult. You just practice, 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 practice. Okay, what if you had 15 plus 16? Okay, double digit plus double digit. So you have number on the top, number on the bottom. First thing you do, write them on top of each other. And this is exactly why I asked you in the very beginning to go ahead and get in the habit of writing your numbers on top of each other. So you start in the right-hand column, like this, and you say 6 plus 5 is what, okay? When you do that on your fingers, 6 plus 5, let's go ahead and do it. 6, now let's continue. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I added 5 more to it. That gives me 11. Now 11 is a double-digit number, so I don't want to write 11 down here. I'm going to put the rightmost number here, which is a 1, and then the other one I'm going to put up here. This is a little mark up on the top, okay? So I wrote 11 down, okay? I'm done with that column. Now I just have to add this column. 1 plus 1 plus 1 gives you 3. So when you write your digit down up here, you have to make sure and add it in like this. So you're going to get 31. So 5 plus 6 is 11. Put the right digit down, put the left digit up here. 1 plus 1 plus 1 gives you 3. Okay? Now what if you had 17 plus 18? Same thing. Write the number down on top, write the number down on the bottom, and add them together. And what you want to do is start in the right-hand column here, 8 plus 7. Okay? What is 8 plus 7 going to be? Okay? It's going to be starting with 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I added 7 more. It gives me 15. 15. Now, 15 is a two-digit number, so I don't just want to write 15 down. I'm going to write the right-hand digit, which is a 5, okay? But I got to put that 1 somewhere, the 1 that goes in 15, and I want to put it down here, so I'm going to put a 1 right up here, okay? Anytime it's greater than 2 or greater digits, I put the other digit up here. Now we're done with this column, so let's move and add these up. 1 plus 1 plus 1, just like before, gives you 3. So it's going to be 35, okay? 35. Now these problems aren't going to get really any more complicated. I'm just doing a lot of them to give you practice. But the rules, they're not going to change. They're really the same. So what if you had 23 plus 16? Okay, 23 plus 16. Double digit plus double digit. Let's write 23 on the top, okay, and 16 on the bottom. And we're going to have our plus sign. So again, the same thing happens. You start in the rightmost column, and you say 6 plus 3. Well, starting with 6, 7, 8, 9. Added 3 more, we got 9. So 9 is going to be in this column. We're done with that column. Now let's move over. 2 plus 1 gives you 3. So the answer is going to be 39. And there's nothing else to do. You just start in the right-hand column. 3 plus 6 is 9. And then move over. 2 plus 1 is 3. Now you can see right now that this is much, much easier than counting all of this on your fingers, because then you would have to put 23 circles down and then 16 more circles down, and you have to count them all up. And this turns out to be much, much better. Okay? What if you had 24 plus 19? How would you do that? Well, you'd write the first number on the top, okay? And then you'd write the 19 underneath it, and you'd want to add them up, right? So you would start in the right-hand column, and you would say 9 plus 4. What would 9 plus 4 equal? Well, you can do that on your fingers, starting at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13. I added 4 to it, got 13. But 13 is a double-digit number, so I don't want to just write 13 down. I want to put the 3 over here. Now I've got to put the 1 somewhere. I'm not going to put the 1 down here. I'm going to put the 1 up here. So 4 plus 9 is 13. I'm going to put the 3 here and the 1 up here in the column to the left. Now we're done with that. Let's move over here. We've got 1 plus 2 plus 1. Okay? So 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 1 is going to give me 4. So I'm going to put a 4 down here. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is going to give me 4. And you can do that on your fingers and figure that out. And so the answer is going to be 43. Okay? Now we're going to just do one quick final problem in this section. It's not going to be really that hard. What if they gave you something like 6 plus 17 plus 10? Okay? How would you add that up? You've got 3 numbers to add instead of just 2, but you're going to find out that it's really no different. Okay? It's really no different. So what we want to do is we want to write down, let's put 10, and let's put 17 under it, and let's put 6 under it. Now the reason I wrote it this way is because basically you want your smallest number to be on the bottom or underneath, and you want it pushed over to the right. Okay? So make sure that the numbers with the most number of digits is on the top, and the numbers with the least number of digits is on the bottom. Okay? So here we just start in the right-hand column, and we say 0 plus 7 plus 6. Well, 0 you don't have to worry about. So what's 7 plus 6? And you can do that on your fingers, starting at 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay? So that's going to give you 13. But 13 is a double-digit number, so I don't want to write it down there. I'm just going to put the 3 down underneath this column, and I've got to put the 1 somewhere. So I'm going to put the 1 up here. Okay? Now I've written 13 down. Okay? And now we're done with that column. We just move over. 1 plus 1 plus 1. There's a 0 here, so that doesn't count. But 1 plus 1 plus 1 is just going to give you 3. So the answer is going to be 33. So when you're adding 1 or 2 digit numbers, the only thing you have to do is start in the right-hand column. You put your numbers up on top of each other, start in the right-hand column, and add that up. If the number is just 1 digit, you just write it down, and you move over to the other column and keep going. If that number is 2 digits, you just write the rightmost number down of whatever it was that you came to, put the left number down up here, and then when you go to the next column, you add that number up with it. And that is how you add 1 and 2 digit numbers together.